England and Scotland, folks, in the Six Nations, and it's a 1-point game which sees England reclaim the Calcutta Cup. 16 points to 15. Scotland, you scored 3 tries. You just didn't convert any of them. 3 tries to 1. England with the 1 try, but the 100% record from the tee gets it done. Finn Russell misses a conversion at the death. Not quite. There was still one last run at it, but man, just one of those 3 conversions and it would have been enough. But hey, England hang on. Good defensive effort from there. But in a game which was, I don't think either side had 100% of their execution going on, to be fair. There were some pretty average kicks for touch. There were some miracle offloads and whatnot at times which maybe needed a steady hand. But hey, it was a Calcutta Cup game which went down to the kind of edge of your seat finish. Let's go through some of the key stats and the key events and whatnot. You guys can let us know your thoughts on how this one went. England opting to put boot to ball to this Scottish attacking backfield was tempting a bit of fate early. I mean, I know sometimes you need to exit your own 22. Those kicks I don't mind, but sometimes just seemingly gifting the Scottish guys free possession and a chance to run at the English, well, they punished early. After some phases, we had literally just kind of kick return. We had Duhan van der Merwe to Kinghorn to Jordan and Ben White with the support line. We're only a few minutes into the game and Scotland take the lead, 5 points to 0. Although England were able to hit back pretty much immediately. It maybe wasn't quite as pretty, but it was just as effective. What it was good at was the ability to kind of recycle through those phases. England went through, I think, 12 of them before Freeman was able to go over from close range for a try. You don't think necessarily Tommy Freeman barging over from close range, but that's what it was. But yeah, Scotland conceded a penalty after scoring, and England punished them for it. So yeah, 7 points to 5. And then the game gets, I guess, a little bit scrappy. There's breakdown penalties both ways. I mean, the breakdown work I love. If you wanted a game where you saw the likes of Jamie Ritchie and Ben Curry and Maro Itoje and others kind of winning phenomenal breakdown penalties, this is a good game for you. Because there was a few of those. There were scrum free kicks. There was a loose bloody boot at one point. I forget whose boot it was. Somebody lost the boot. There were knocks backwards. There wasn't that much flow until Scotland scored their second try of the game on 19 or so minutes. Hugh Jones, he's the guy who finishes it off. It's a nice line-out move. They get wide ball. You get Rowe, Kinghorn, Duhan van der Merwe. And then he pops the ball in the tackle to Hugh Jones. It's again unconverted, but that means Scotland is in the lead. 10 points to 7. That is the last scoring of the first half. And probably, I think, the last scoring until about 55 minutes into the second. Because, yeah, no one's able to break the deadlock. Again, Scotland's kicking, you feel like, was pushing England back decently well in terms of the territorial pressure, putting them on the back foot a bit. But they had a lot of 22 entries for a whole lot of no return, the Scots. Like 7 phases into England's half. England's defence does well. Tom Willis, unfortunately, has to go off after he collides with Ellis Genge, kind of head-on-head, but a friendly fire. He doesn't come back, but fingers crossed he's all right when the Six Nations gets back underway in a fortnight's time. But yeah, Scotland still looked dangerous in the kick return. But you had guys like Ben Curry who were able to kind of win turnovers. Finn Smith had a few dominant tackles, which is good for a 10 to have that kind of defensive presence. England won scrum penalties before half-time. They had a chance of an attacking set themselves. They had, Marcus Smith weaving and ducking and diving after Laurie Lawrence had the initial kind of break and offloading the tackle. But then Lawrence kind of ruins it at the end by, again, throwing the kind of Hail Mary play at the end, which just goes into touch. So, missed chance. But yeah, Scotland take a 10-7 lead into the sheds at half-time. They'll probably not that happy with just not having more. Because they had double the run meters, 311 to 152 at half-time. They had more possession, 56%, more territory, 59%, more defenders beaten, 16-4, more clean breaks, 3-1. And yeah, it's a 3-point lead. They've also dropped more ball. Turnovers conceded is 9-2. So they'll be a little bit frustrated because that's similarly what happened to them against the Irish in the previous round. Second half starts. Scotland go 10 phases into England's 22. End up knocking it on. And Steve Borthwick kind of pulls the trigger early on some of the substitutes. He brings on Daly. He brings on George, and then Tom Curry gets injured, so they bring on Cunningham-South. So it's one of those games where the extra forward on the bench seems like a good move because they were able to make those substitutions pretty comfortably. Daly was a big call to come on early, I guess, because with only the two backs, if they'd lost a back to injury, they would have been in trouble, but it didn't seem to happen for them. So, yeah, it worked all right. Both sides are winning turnovers. Ritchie doing well. Again, Finn Smith, big on defence, is pleasing to see because we've seen other 10s miss a few tackles. But Finn Smith was largely putting them in pretty well. And then England even up the score, 55 minutes. Win a penalty, slot that one, first score in a while. Scotland looked to hit back pretty quickly. Finn Russell has a nice line break but can't quite free the hands to Duhan van der Merwe. And then you got Maro Itoje with a miracle kind of turnover at the breakdown. Finn Russell wasn't happy with it because he said he wasn't supporting his body weight, but I don't think there's a rule you have to be on both your feet to be supporting your body weight. You just need good balance. So Itoje, whether you think he was supporting his body weight or not, it was a hell of a turnover and shuts down what was a pretty dangerous Scottish play. 64 minutes, we do get the kind of real first TMO intervention to stop the game. It's been pleasing to see there's not been a heck of a lot of TMO interventions in these games, so they seem to be getting the balance, I think, relatively right, although this one is one that goes to kind of penalty only. It's Kyle Rowe on Chessum with a bit of head-on-head. I think Chessum maybe had the better of the head-on-head, I don't know, because he had more momentum going with him, but the referee rules that is a penalty only, and then we get a good touch kick from England, maul, advantage, phases, back for the penalty, yellow card warning for Scotland. Do England go for the jugular or just go pragmatically to go for the 3? Go for the 3. It's Test match rugby. I would have gone for the 3 as well. If it was Super Rugby, I might have gone for the touch. But nah, you got to go for the 3. So they take the lead, 13 points to 10. Points are hard to come by in this game. And when they got their next penalty not too long later, after Scotland conceded a pretty soft penalty for kind of lifting a player trying to clear out the ruck, it made it 16-10. 16-10 looked like not unassailable, but it looked like a pretty good game. Pretty good lead given this game. So 16-10. Can England hold on? They did concede a penalty at line-out time. Scotland went the other way. They had time because it was, 73 minutes? Had time to take the 3 and they maybe, look for the winning play, or they could go for the try now, which is what they did. Went for touch, go for a line-out. Then they kind of lost the loose line-out ball, which just felt like this is just not Scotland's day. But then England got charged down. And as I said, it's like some of the kicks in this game were not making a whole lot of territory. There were multiple kicks out on the full. This one was just charged down. So if anything, the kicking could use a little bit of work. But yeah, second chance at it for Scotland with that charge down kick. 15 phases before Ashman tries some miracle behind the back flick play, which goes into touch. And the Scottish guys outside him have got their heads in their hands. It doesn't end up mattering because there was actually a penalty which the TMO pulls up, which would have been pulled up had things kind of gone to hand anyway. But it was just, I don't know, indicative of not calm heads doing smart things. But yes, there's a penalty in the build-up. So that seems like it's going to be game. However, England concede a pretty soft line-out obstruction penalty, which Scotland do finally punish. McDowell, massive line break in the midfield, leads to Russell to Kinghorn, and then that man Duhan van der Merwe, who just loves scoring against England, gets one. But she's pretty wide out, and Finn Russell's kick is nice, but it's just a few yards too far to the left. So misconversion means Scotland, with 30 seconds to go, have to go length of the field because England kicked the restart long. England do concede a penalty, which gives the Scottish guys the territory, but not long later, Kyle Rowe gets held up in a tackle. It is a maul, and that is all she wrote. So England break their losing streak against the Scots and keep their Six Nations title hopes alive. Remembering they've got Italy and Wales to go. So England's fixtures are going to be two that they're the favourites for sure. Scotland, it's another year of disappointment. Run meters, 501 to 323 to Scotland. Possession, 58-42 Scotland. Territory, 56-44 Scotland. Defenders beaten, 34-10 Scotland. Clean breaks, 9-2 Scotland. Do you want me to go on? There's a lot of nice attacking stats for the Scots. However, turnovers won, 7-3 England. Goal kicking, 100% to 0% England. And turnovers conceded, 18-10 Scotland. You feel like those ones are pretty decisive. I mean, Ben Curry, Jamie Ritchie, as I mentioned, these guys were cracking at the breakdown. Darge made 10 tackles. Finn Smith made 16 tackles. He missed a few, but largely very secure. Kinghorn was competing for those high balls against Marcus Smith and doing pretty well on attack. 125 metres, 7 defenders beaten. But, yeah, not Scotland's day at the office. Earl, 3 defenders beaten, 30 metres. He's kind of one of the busiest England forwards on the ball carry. Yes, that's how she went. It's always an arm wrestle between England and Scotland. England will take on Italy at home next, who they've never lost to. And Scotland back home to take on Wales. But you guys let us know your thoughts on how this one went. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I would greatly appreciate it. You guys let us know your thoughts on the game. Take care, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.